خناخ يكيا يخستيني تكت يوهان واسا أختو يكي وش كنخ وتدا آدي تلتسين كخ جاك أوي يا شgóon هتلاقو كونكيان ساعتي هين دي حسبو آدن تلتسين كخ يأوه آتلين شكالين قدزتي أوي أداد تايقا قوشيسكو ودكتوت أوي كاينخ تتواوسكوون كاينخ أوي هين دي وقودي يا آتلين قوو قوشي هسوجي وزكاي قا أوي هو تايق قنخوي أدايي جيوني تلتسين يتايق دهين وي يك جنك قا يكس جنك قا أوي دخنتو وقت تيك دوغو أوي ياو يا قلتسين يا خد تلتسين يا خد وساكو يا أوي دو أو شتو تلتسين دا تايدي أوي أقخ أي أو سني يا ناس كدوشو أوي ساق قاق أي قدزتي يا خنجت دايت يخوجين ياغ قاش قاكي أقايا يوتين وتايدي أتو يدي ناكو تلتسيني ناكو أيا آتلي ناكو وكياني تن ودتليخ قش وقاقان تلتسيني جوي أكوسكن إدوك تايدي تو يدي وين يكيه ناكو يأو أداتي تختتن يايجي واسقني يكوخيخ ها wooch institute yes أي يقنهين أختو يكي هاوتين قنخوي أداتي تختتن قشق نخ أوي ويخ إيقا هس أو شكوكا يختنجي خنجت يختنجي تاتي خد قا أختو يكي هستو إن يختتاني وان قنينز قا خد بوشتيش آتلينا وآ يا أخي أو شتو هنقصو آت يا خوتان دو خنت أيخ وقت تلاوستلا دو إينا يختتانن قلت زي قا دقسي كيك دهينا ويخو أخ قيخني خيدخ جو يا أخ تو قود أتجنخكت يو أداتي تختتان وسيديخ أيا ويندشني جانا ويقوى ها شيدهيني هسيتواسكو هيقتنجي كيكوخلتسيني ووجينا يا يقوتي خد قوى 1996 ويقونيش دخلتو شنجت يا أخليل كتين أخلا دو إيش قشتهين يدو ساقن دكلوي دي أوه جاهو أو سكو شنجت قشتو دو كيك هس دو غلاق تلحس أوسكو قشتس أخايا أخش تلحس أوشكو خوا جكلك أوه هستو إني جخنين خوا دوسا كدين أو سكو هيو ختنجي يسات أوه أختو يقوتي قنخوي أختو سكو يجيت كقوتي جلتكتتيا خسكو كدين كغخي آق يا هاي ختنجي التكتيوهان التكتيكي قل أتخخي شيخ أقا أوه يغخ تطلاق التكتيوهان تشرنا شيء يدتي دخ وش نسك صنديق قنخ ويسخوخ أيا هجية قتي كهانتي يدو ساقو أت كهانتي جاك أوي تخلدي وكهانتي قستي قلتس أت كتسكو دكلا قلتو إيش حسبونا وان قنيز كهانتي خوستي Ya yidat yekhwaji wa atkatskudataya yagachtusda like ka yak yagach ka yagach satak chak oecho agwal like one qalins like we kohanti ko awishkashnik huji at we at hastu inye jekhane adat kakhwan ish kashakshani chak yagi khat bulla tishnu chastu yiqa Aadé awe ahi hasbutishi ka Aadé awe wuchin yuk atul atkan qawsagu qanachwe qawsagu ya huchi aye yi in kakhuni gayagi jade khatu akhirki khiyarke awe ya akhirki akat khatse wak akta qasa yes ya qa qinach I'm bored khatqa kal qish gooch kal ik qujaq ye awe ya khuqa ya yagi awe qa naqin yuk akhtatanan du in kachonik qanachwe atushuq gun chish klein a qeidis achi Keshlin a lle yw hansu gwalli tuas gu ye yati a ye yuchatangi ye qoti ye awe ye kuge a yuchatangi dat kha gun chish you two I guess gu yuchayatani linkit qina khirwasa qoti recap gawuga. What did I say?
You, at one point, we're talking about listening to your grandpa.
Yes.
And was he talking about the experiences of his parents?
Maybe not. But he was when I started learning Tlingit with, and his siblings didn't know Tlingit. They could understand it, but they didn't know.
Remember you were talking about the bears and fishing and or with something to do with fish and I guess that's what I got. And more about like at the beginning, like language, you know, that we're all here together and as a big group.
Yeah.
Or,
Huge.
Remember what else? Yeah.
Jeez.
Huge group.
I think I heard you talk about the shok tom. You're talking about the strong and soothing.
Yes, Dugtut. Somewhat Dugtut.
Did you say something about how we got our strength from the water?
Yeah. And I think about that all like every I think it was maybe the first semester I was teaching Tlingit. Scared. And Jessie Johnny, she used to call, she knew what time I taught, and she would call me before class and just like give me these awesome pep talks. It was so amazing. And one time she said, like, our people used to go in the water for strength, and that's what you guys are doing. So I like to share that with y'all.
Before you said that, you said long ago, and then you said udzika.
Is that weird? Isn't udzika like we're lazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
Like we're
Dugtut,
not lazy or something like that, right?
yeah, Dugtut liked to soak in the water for strength by himself because people made fun of him. Anybody know why? Why do people make fun of him? It's kind of sensitive.
Slept in the ashes. It's all dark.
Yes.
He was dark.
He was, yeah, he had dark skin.
He was dirty from the ashes.
Yes, he would come out of the water at night, usually when no one was around. So he'd go in the icy waters, come out, and to warm himself up, he would pee on the fire, and the steam from it would warm him up. And so people made fun of him for that as well. But a lot of people thought he was lazy, but he wasn't lazy. He just did these things by himself.
And that's where jigax came from?
Yes.
Wow.
I think I said, Yehasawaji awehu utsakaya awehu taika. Oh, they say, here's another good one. There's a story, we'll probably work on this story. I think I've started it several semesters. Maybe we'll finish it. We'll talk about our work agreements here. But Christine Nach is such a beautiful story, and Kahwanish was such an amazing speaker, George Davis. So there's, towards the beginning of this story, he said, Utsakaya ka tak kukwashah. Utsakaya ka tak kukwashah. We know what that is? Utsakaya ka,
The lazy people.
lazy person. Tak.
It's going to starve in the winter.
Yes, it's gonna starve in the winter. But that's not us. That's always I just like to say that one too. Just to say it, right? I'm not saying anybody in here is lazy.
I think I heard you say clicky. That's why I don't know, it was before talking about, like after talking about restricting the water and then talking about stuff to a master and then to attending.
Yes. Okay, now I remember.
Oh,
I said gwesh kushaknach awe uyech eka has au shaku hayukatangi. Hayukatangi tsate.
Kushuk 9 and masters.
Maybe 9 master speakers left. I'm happy when I talk to them, but I do get sad about what's going on.
You're apologizing to your children.
Story of that.
Someday they're gonna watch these recordings and be like, "What on earth you trash it?" But they're so I'm so happy they understand Lingi. I got tons and tons of videos and stories of them doing so much amazing stuff. But I was teasing them because sometimes they come to me and they say, "I'm bored." Right? This is especially when like you get your hour of screen time and now you can't play video games, right? Which is maybe cruel, but I don't know. Can't sit on those things all day. So sometimes when they say I'm bored, I'll say, "Wasawait ah." And what is that?
what's up? Floorboard?
What's up, board? Like a piece of wood. And they get angry. And I was on the phone with Ruth Demmer today and told her this other one. Another one of them may have come up to me and said, "I'm bored." And I said, "Kesh ish gooch, kesh ik kwajak." They got mad about that one too. But what is it? Kesh ish gooch, kesh ik kwajak.
Not wolf. Is there a wolf in there? Not a wolf. Not.
But there's kesh ish gu is a noun from a verb. Anybody know what kesh ish gu is?
Like K as in yakg.
No. It's ka. So kausagu. Anybody know that one? Kausagu.
Yeah. Fun.
What?
It was fun, right? Kasagu is the noun form. Kasagu. Fun, exciting. So the negative, keshkeshku.
It wasn't fun.
No fun.
So you could say it's not fun. Kesh. Okay, I think you say keshkesku. No, I think keshkesku. But then there's an opposite. What's the opposite of fun?
Boring.
Boring. Better not be this. Okay, say keshkeshku. Boring or boredom. Keshkeshkuch. Keshikwajak.
It's always boring.
Quite.
Not gonna kill you?
Yes, boredom won't kill you. I'm a good father. I'm just having you know. Ah.
Bored to death.
Oh yeah, so you could say, okay, so I may have said to someone else one time, "Wasa teshkeshku yechwajian chetrekwachakan." It was so boring, I thought it was going to kill me. So I go the other way too. As in a presentation, it was a good effort and a good idea, but they could have told it to me in 5 minutes. So sometimes I'm a bad audience member. So some folks had a neat idea about building glossaries that you could put into like Microsoft Word or something. It was a cool idea. But a lot of us who speak not toonéi languages thought it might be impossible to put that many entries in because the verbs change. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts about the stuff I was talking about? Okay. One of the things I want us to do this semester, welcome to the semester, welcome to the year, is to think about things that we could talk about at the beginning of class. It's a 90-minute class. We should spend 45 minutes in Xingyí. That would be really nice. But then, like, I'm gonna think of ideas. I saw some folks doing some cool stuff in other languages and just talking about language assessments. And so I'll demonstrate something on Wednesday where I'll show you something, we'll talk about it. I'll show you something, we'll talk about it. And always just feel like you can also bring your own things to the like it's a conversation. And so like forcing a conversation with like 30 people is interesting, and especially because we're language learners as well. So we're gonna force a bunch of stuff. But the goal is your mission is to keep me from talking the whole time, should you choose to accept it. Okay, any burning language questions or thoughts, ideas? Okay.
I have a cultural one.
Okay.
Could you speak about, I finally can't get a word for it. Speak about, the yarn earrings.
Oh,
The dance that goes with it.
All of it.
okay.
There we go, that's it.
Okay, well, first of all, I gotta say one more thing and think it. Gyan na dak chayek gink kasiye. A kach aya yersene. Tsatsi yach uwaya. Tatke ya hahiti dat yejechwane. Aqa away atlain cheshko. Achantas butakin. Just yank away wuchakak. Qane aya yuke watan hastu yuke tangitin. Joya qunachach yade aya outlaqen. Ach yet outlaqen. A joy qune yuch the tan klingit qinach was away chesh. Gun cheese yak ti. Qualha I dekachit de shise qanen. Agawe tlidin qune yuch gachtit art. Yeah, away qualisa kuch at the cuttet with klinketane ka klinkit the aya arch. The cuttet the yakwahe kutzati. A joy at the cuttet the jich to tea at ya unéi. Just want to make sure that you knew that. So the guk tenk, I think they're called. They're these very long earrings. And especially during a house dedication, there would be a sway dance that was done where women who were they're usually high caste women. They would wear them, and the way that I seen it, they would bend at the waist. The lower body is fairly still, and they would get their whole body like moving and get the earrings to go like that. I don't know a whole bunch more than that, but I know that there's certain songs that are sway songs, and there's certain the ones that I know I've seen did it. When we did a building dedication, it was Sally Burriton, I think Lee Florendo, and I can't remember. There might have been two others who did it there. But I haven't seen it in a whole lot of places. I don't think it's something that is being done a whole lot anymore, unless I'm just not seeing it.
I know the Cosmo Tom we have a song, I have a recording of the song we used for that. So you can share.
There is a term for it. Yukunak, the sway dance. And then Koktenk. I'll look into that more.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but we have done a dance like that with yarn, those yarn things that hang from both sides. And it's that sway. And there's certain songs that we sway to.
And they were way bigger than like the earrings. Like I think sometimes they would go around your head, and they would be like a really big ball with like a long, long.
They're real long.
Yeah, I was curious. Cogwanton elder gifted me a pair. They're very long.
Oh wow.
He told me to go learn.
Oh, you can. Well, we'll go see who knows. We'll ask around. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I was taught about Xeiyí.
What?
Over Xeiyí, the blankets that are specifically made for gifting.
Uh-huh.
But that was all I was told. Like they wasn't explaining what kind of blankets those were, or what made them those blankets.
Uh-huh.
It kind of sounded like those old, almost military ones.
Yeah, Xeiyí.
Oh.
So Xeiyí, it could mean wool as well. And so shgóon means literally wool boots. That's what we call socks. Xeiyí, long time ago, are the old military style blankets and the Hudson blankets. And so like wool blankets were a really big deal and still are. So I know some of the phrases, some of the things that I've heard talked about them is when they were stacked high enough that you couldn't see the house posts, then the ku'ik was ready to start. And when you come in, like, you know, we sometimes would try to outdo each other a little bit, like who could give away the most. So you'd walk into a ku'ik, you'd be like, that's a lot of blankets. We're gonna have to get more blankets than these guys, right? So, because you'd want them to come to your ku'ik, be like, well, now that's a lot of like it's got to be like, you know, but you're giving them all away, right? So it's not like you're saying I have the most, right? But then what was cool is when you start giving them away, it would start revealing the house posts, right? So that was one thing that I heard is you would stack them in front of the house posts, and usually it was high enough that you couldn't see the designs that were on there. And yeah, Xeiyí, that's what they're. Xeiyí. Okay. Ready for the next
So
thing?
yeah, you want to call it sway dance?
Oh, you could not put it in the chat. I do think they talk about it in Hatu Nauguyas. Florence would probably be someone to ask about it.
Okay.
Which I can do.
I'll bring lunch in. Okay, I'll go find her.
Because I know, yeah, I think,
Or bingo.
oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's start the next thing, folks. Because we'll have today and Wednesday to go through this thing. All right. So I thought I'd put together just a little slideshow thing. Okay. I want to make this bigger. Hold on. Anybody want to read it? Just the top line.
Wudiat, wutudiat, hayukatangi.
Okay. What is that saying?
Book.
There's no book. There would be a cook. But it looks like a book.
Kuch back.
Back or
And then
return.
number 2 is like we walk
Yep.
together.
Our language.
And I don't know the who.
Okay, so
Box.
not a box. A box would be a kook.
Cook.
So you can have kook, kook,
Cook.
kook, kook.
You said this for a while.
Not about location, like who, but
It's a locational type of thing, yes.
okay.
Oh, the sun. Wait, right there.
Well, I read it as some looks like at, among,
Among.
living.
Yes. So one time there was a kid who was maybe upset about something and to de us, they were pouting. And the elder looked at them and said, "Keshtu tawash ku kachut wuguti." They don't want to go be among the people, right? We have returned to be among our language. For some of us, we're around it all the time. Like, that is going to be what it takes. If you're trying to, keep leveling up, which is what you should be doing, you have to be around it all the time. And it's hard because I think as a learner, these days, you have to really compartmentalize a bunch of stuff, right? Because you interact in a world that's going to be 99% English. And for example, there was a group of us we tried this just this little immersion thing. And we went to Tim Hortons and we ordered our coffee and they shut us down. Just say it in English, right? Which is fine, it happens. Not slandering Tim Hortons. Wait, oh, what are they? Oh, I have to look it up. We came up with a word for donuts. I'll bring it on Wednesday. Anasha Hash named the donut. Okay. What about the next line down? Anybody want to read that one?
Gout, top, kawa di het, wujegar, sus, gach, toonéi.
Okay. And there might have been a threat against me in the chat for saying something bad about Tim Hortons. I'm full on board with Tim Hortons.
Together we will save the time, and then I don't know what count means.
Gout, koud, hit.
Fine.
has come.
It is time.
The time has come. It has hit the time. So you could say gout, koud, hit just on its own. I say it to my kids. Gout, koud, hit. We got to get them late. I might be late to school all the time with my kids, but gout, koud, hit would mean the time has come. You can also use this for gout, koud, hit, and you can use it for telling time, which we'll work on some things with that. But you can also put something right after it. The time has come for this thing. So this is something we're also going to work on this semester is How do you just tie two things together? Because we want to do that stuff all the time, right? Unéi. Like that's a really neat construction. Unéi. What is that saying? Unéi.
You get better. Hope you get well.
I hope you get better. I hope you heal. I hope you recover. Gout hit waxéex toonéi.
The time has come for it to heal.
Getting there, but there's a little bit different sort of thing going on.
Together.
For us to heal it.
That's getting closer.
To save it.
Together.
Say it again.
Time has come for us to heal together, or that we will heal together.
To heal each other. To heal each other. So there's one of our starting points for this semester. So this first sort of thing, this is a bit of a review. It's something for us to look at. And it's just, so like, as we go through this slideshow, I'll put it up on the website. For those of you maybe who haven't studied with me yet or haven't in a while, everything that I do, I put on clinkitlanguage.com and then YouTube. There's these three things that are all linked together. One is clinkitlanguage.com, where I try to put everything I use to teach Tlingit and to document it and to study it myself. The second thing is a YouTube channel where I put recordings of elders and I put recorded classes. Then the third thing is a Google Drive that contains everything I use to teach Tlingit and to study it, every resource I've ever found that I'm allowed to use. And some people tell me not to use stuff with their own language. It makes me a little angry. But then every slideshow that I use, I put on there as well and link to it. But some of them, like this one, is going to have things that reveal themselves. Like there'll be some stuff that's not translated because I'm going to ask you to translate it. And so as we translate it, since we're just getting started, it'll just be kind of an open call. But then I'm going to start showing you things and say, look at this, take a few minutes and work on it on your own. Now let's come back and check in. Because we do have some folks who have taken advanced Tlingit before. And I'm so glad that you're still here. It's like a collaborative teaching experience. It's wonderful. You guys could do so much while I'm still on my way. But we won't always be like that. So this is one where it'll reveal itself as we go along. But this, I'm trying to think of some themes for the semester. And some of the themes are like just really helping each other, really trying to be, they say like kautiduk, like something that has healed and become whole. Or as Nora used to say, solid. She's like, he was solid. Like she was so fun. But like to sort of just share some of that stuff with you folks about like what I'm trying to sort of like plant some seeds about what we're trying to do this year. Like I get this idea from the Hawaiians. They used to have like a theme every year. And one of theirs was like, I guess you'd say, maybe. You're gonna go for the deep sea fish. And what there was a metaphor there, which was we're not playing around on the surface. We're going way down because they really wanted to get rich Hawaiian language, which is what we're trying to do here. As we go along, ask questions if you got them. You could put them in the chat. If we're trying to stay in Tlingit for a while, put them in the chat. We're going to experiment with some different ways to collaboratively take notes so that we can also come back and review that stuff. If you ever feel like you're getting lost or you don't know what's going on, like I want to make sure that we can help you along. So we're going to look at some things that are sort of the themes of this semester. But first, well, I guess here's the first one. Chaltakata de waxéex kutzati. Ajoy chaltakata de jichtuti. Atya awune. I should have had someone else read it. Someone read it. Can someone translate that for us?
In everything there's a spirit.
Yes. And the second part?
No, I can't always hear everybody in the classroom when they repeat. So maybe if someone, just so you know.
Okay.
Did I
Let's.
turn them on? I think it's on. I can hear
It's
it.
on, we can hear you, but it's not as like deliberate, you know what I mean? I've turned up my volume and stuff, but it's still harder to hear you compared to hearing unéi.
Yeah, you're far away.
Yeah. You need to speak up.
In everything there's a spirit. Is that okay?
Yes, quite a bit better. Thank you.
And there might be a bit of a lag. Like if I'm talking, like it's this microphone, and then if someone else talks, it'll switch to the one near them, but it might take a second. So we might say, we might have to prompt, like might say, Xeiyí or yakg, and then do the thing. Maybe. Okay. Sheesh. Oh, the second part?
This is why we respect everything.
Yes. And how's it working? Right? Because it is saying that. How?
Because of this, everything and the function is like the special something.
Mm-hmm.
And then yawune or yaawune is respect.
Yes, atyawune or yaatwune are both ways to say respect. I kind of like this. I like to say atyawune because it's closer to how the verb works. But I'm not saying the other way is wrong. Not at all. What about jichtuti?
You said atyawune or yaatwune?
Yaatwune.
Give is
Yes.
give. So because of this, we have to give everything respect.
Yeah, so you could conjugate that verb. There's a verb form for respecting something. But in this case, when I asked an elder how to say, like, we respect all things, this is what he said. He said, Ajich means we regularly give it to it. Right? So I could say, Jich chati Roblox Dana. Give my child Roblox, which I think is cryptocurrency, if I'm understanding this right. I'm just kidding. But I give them Roblox. Robux? I don't even know how to say the thing. But this is how you say, like, we give it respect. And it's not the only way to say it, but this is one way to say it. But this comes back to the foundations of what we're doing here. This is where we're operating from. Thoughts or questions? Anybody want to read this one? Somebody read this one. If you haven't read yet, now's a great time to read it.
Wooch in yakg to lak slash wooch gach to the dake. And I know the first part is let's all achieve or win.
We will. We will
win.
We will succeed together. We will
Together.
attain it together.
Mhm.
Is that like the opposite? We will not fail together.
No, you could say tesh. I think it's a tesh ke ha kaguchtek. K, which would be we won't fail.
Well, not together.
Yes, we will not something, we won't something to each other. How's that? We won't date.
Oh, yay.
Kind of like to challenge each other or something, or
Yes. And
Oh, go against each other.
I think we can, sometimes we can. There was an elder who was a really good Tlingit speaker. And one time I saw him, he said, Ikkodeq. Says that. Aadé. You know, he's like, I'm going to challenge. And he said something really difficult in Tlingit just to see if I can understand it. So I would say it's healthy to push each other. It's healthy to grow together. But what I don't want us to do is to be competing with each other. You're not competing with anybody in here and always better than anybody. We might mess around with some things. We like to have fun, but also always remember that this is a collaborative thing. We are stronger together. I have seen like jealousy. I don't want to like focus on that kind of stuff, but I've seen like people operate from a place of not love and kindness. And I think part of that is various insecurities and other things that could come across where you end up like feeling like you're being challenged, right? And so if it's a healthy thing, sure. But I would just say we're not here to challenge each other. Thoughts or questions?
Ever since you said, which one, I do that to my friends now when we're talking.
Mhm.
Go leave in a group and they say, it's fun. And which one?
Yeah. Better be.
Or, Xeiyí puts a team,
Mhm. Right? And it's growth and it's fun.
What is the verb in the last word in the challenge or
Let's go.
It's on page 44 of story. It's yakg.
Yeah, so when you encounter these, so you can open up the verb dictionary. Let me zoom in on this thing, hold on. So we're gonna go down to the verb root section. We're gonna look up deq. It's right there, challenge, dare, especially to do what is socially unacceptable. So then again, a lot of us probably know, but when you look up a verb root, you know, so if you see something, like deq, you'll get so good at spotting verb roots that you'll say, okay, there it is. Well, I know that there's the root. Like, we're not going to deq each other, right? And so you can get it to that point. Then when you look up the verb root, you're like, okay, I get it, right? But then the underlined word is what you can look up for sample sentences. So we'll go to the C's, go down to CH.
Mm-hmm.
And so challenge, dare. They challenge each other to a fight. So you see, it's the woosh. So wooch in does not push the verb to go plus D all the time. Sometimes it will. But if you put whoosh in front of the verb on its own, or wooch, it should be pushing that verb plus D. We're doing that to each other.
We will not challenge each other.
Yes.
Yukatangi kusagao yes. Woosh has. Wudidek. Challenge each other to a word fight.
Yukatunk at the wooch. Yeah, that's a yukatunk at the wooch. It's a war of words. Okay. Oh, with the deck, goodness cheese. Yeah, and then we might find more stuff. We can also go look it up in Lear's notes, and we might find even more things. So if we go, this is all alphabetized. So we see the for challenge, and then it's challenging them. And then there's a couple notes here as it's conjugation. So you could say guk qateq, challenge them. And then it says inv, which means well, it usually means a variable stem, but I see a stem variation right there. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Sheesh.
I saw a comment, udutliday, that's a bonus.
Cheatwoo?
It's that challenge call that they make in the fall when they're calling another bull into fight. But Shgóon used to say "Wooddoodly deck."
Oh, okay.
Oh, like they're called.
Yeah. So that's like because then there's probably a toot, a kawadoot, Aadé aya, wooch haswuditlekye. I'm gonna call it in with that challenge call or whatever, right? Because you have to. And yeah, shgóon, like especially if you go inland, you get a lot of moose knowledge up there.
I'm pretty new to hunting. Do deer do the same thing? Because I've always heard calling them in with the antlers and stuff.
Yeah, so like there's.
Do they have challenging calls like that?
Usually I think you do like a female deer call, right? And so that's that high pitched thing that you blow through. And I think you can do that with other, there's some things you call and there's some things you don't. And then there's two. Okay, has to in karanik, cheatwoo. It's the cut at the down.
This Wasaku Guakandat chess jisk.
Oh, you do male and female, right?
Yeah.
I think for a Guakan, you usually just do a female call. Okay.
My other question is like, is there other things that would call for a fight like that?
Well, so if you say like ikwadeq, like so when someone said that to me, I didn't think they wanted to fight. He said, I'm going to challenge you, right? So this is, like in this case, like this person knew that I was learning Tlingit, knew that I liked to go for some of the harder stuff. And so they did. They said they wanted to say something that was very difficult to interpret. But if you say, that means I'm challenging you to a fist fight. That's how I would interpret that. Like, kushagao is usually like throwing hands. A wooch is like a war or a trouble. So there could be other things too. And then there's wushkagedi. Wushkagedi, I think, is to like race with someone. Like wushkagate, hasluwaguk. They ran a race. So that's where a different type of thing where you're trying to defeat each other, which, sometimes a healthy competition could be good, right? Basketball, hockey. Sometimes people need to get their anger out. Those things help. Whoosh kagedi. I had to look, now I gotta look this one up too.
Is that also another term for like just running together? Did I hear that before?
Well, wooch-in. So you're usually gonna have wooch-in. So like you say, wooch-in klakach tu klagao. We're gonna fight together, which means like you and me go fight those guys, right? Woosh klakach tu klagao. We're gonna fight each other. Right? So this is where like the wooch-in and the woosh become very important because because then you show up and your buddy punches you in the nose. Like, what? Like, oh, you didn't say wooch, so it's like, it's go time. We always come back to like punching in the face. So all roads lead back. Look at me, I go against all these rules that I just lay out. But it's just kidding, I think. Okay. Yes, kushagao. And then there's another one, to wrestle. Isakuka?
Is that the brown bear one? Or is that a separate thing?
WrestleMania comes up. Okay. It's in Dakut. It's kukshaha. So then you would have kukaushaha. Kukaushaha. They wrestled with me.
And that one is, I'm gonna wrestle.
Yeah, oops, let me put this, I don't think it's on the screen, sorry. This is from Dakut. Kushagao, kukaushaha. And then Wudadeq, or Wudeq. Okay. Okay, a couple more. So we won't get to today the parts where you are talking, but we will do that on Wednesday. And what you'll have is a lot like this. We're going to get like a prompt, one at a time. Who wants to read this one?
Wooch ik to dashi.
Yeah, wooch to dashi. And how do we translate that one?
We always help each other.
Yes, or we help each other on a regular basis. Okay. So there is a slight difference between there's a habitual form, which is usually going to end with a CH on the verb. That means every time. Then there's usually another form where it's like a repetitive form, right? I eat Rice Krispies regularly. I eat Rice Krispies every single morning, right? So there is a difference between those in meaning. So a lot of what we do like this whole year is going to be just the fine-tuning stuff, looking at things like that.
So on that note, how would you change that to be like, we always help each other?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I always say this thing where it's like, when my friends are like, thank you, I just go, oh, it's what we do. And they're like, oh, well, what is that? And I'm like, oh, well, that's what we do. You know, we always do that.
Right.
That's what we do.
Yeah, so like we can look at the help verb. So we go down to she. Let me make this larger. So here's help. So then we see, I was already looking at this verb. Again, just a little bit of review on how we read a verb theme. N-E-T tilde, capital S-D-S-H-E-E. We would write this probably a little different, at least I would. I would say N plus E-E-T. I'd keep the tilde plus S. I would say D plus 0, and then have a root marker here. And I would also have the little number 1, and I would not put a tilde at the end of it. We don't have time, but we're going to talk, we'll keep reviewing like what is the N, what is the S. We're not going to do that right now. But if you go down, you'll see command forms. So do, don't, the one that does it, doing it, starting to do it now, used to do it, did it, didn't do it, will do it, won't do it, let them do it, always do it. Ach ich dashinuch. That is one way to do it. And a habitual is another way to do it. So in this case, it depends who's doing it. So you could say, wooch, eat, to dashij. We help each other every single time. So if you ever start something with like chakak, which is all the time, you're going to use a habitual form. And usually, once you go chakak, I would expect the verb to end with the CH. But we're going to learn how to put this verb together too. So you can look it up, but you will also know how to put this together. At least you'll be able to give it a good guess.
Wooch eat tuda sheet.
In other verb roots, that comes out as wutu, right? Is this the same kind of structure, just shifts in this one? Because of...
Yes, yes. And so for some of them in the habitual, you will get a perfective marker. But it's, I would actually expect it in this one, but we don't have it in this one.
Okay.
A lot of times a 0, like so when you look at the conjugation type, that's usually what tells you. So a lot of 0s, they usually have that perfective marker. Okay.
So are you saying that you can't say cha, tlak, and either I am helping or I will help or anything like that? It's always cha, tlak, and then the every time verb?
Yes, that's what I would expect. And usually when I would speak with speakers, they would correct me. They would give me that verb form back. And so, and a lot of times when that correction would happen, I would just be talking with them and they would just say the single thing that I didn't do right back to me. But yeah.
So, okay. Again, if you said just the always every time verb form without cha, tlak, is that correct also?
Yes, so I would expect either nooch or the ch. So for, like the yati verb right here, so like atinich yati. So if he said chakuk atinich chat, and I would expect natich.
Gonna teach.
Chakaki natich. Okay, last one. We gotta do one more. There was 4 on here. Who wants to read it? Who didn't read yet? Gook.
Asa, ha, yanach, udash.
Okay. What does that say?
Nobody's heavier than him.
That would be an interpretation, but in this case, like chedash, you would expect an L classifier if it was really talking about weight. So yadash can be weight, but it can also be another thing. Importance.
Poor.
Importance. Nobody's more important than anybody. Hesh asakha ya nach udash. Wuchyak with the dashoich the katuhan. We're all the same value. So this is another, these are things, these are our 4 sort of core values for our course. We'll make jokes, we'll have fun, we'll keep learning, we'll do a whole bunch of stuff, but if we ever encounter trouble, we'll come back to these 4 guidelines. These are our house posts for our semester. There's a spirit in everything, so we respect all things. We're gonna succeed together. We're not gonna try and outdo each other. We'll help each other. And nobody's more important than anybody else. You'll have a chance to, okay, I'll give you guys the prompt. Here's the prompt. In Tlingit, you will tell us 4 things about yourself. Only 2 of them can be things that you would usually say in some sort of introduction, a traditional introduction. 4 things. That's all. Just that. And you don't have to use any habitual forms. Say it however you want to. Anything before we go?
Doesn't class go until some
Unéi.
Break.
Asa.
There's no breaks.
Xeiyí one klein. We unéi your speech. This word here, wasa, Kahwa Kahwa. You tried?
Yeah. So you can, that's okay. That's a really good question because it brings me back to something we just talked about. If you say chakuk, you can also use a future. Chakuk ayakuk, or I could say tuk yagi, kuk yak, yak. If you try it every single day, you're gonna get it.
Can you type that one out? Yeah, because I would love to.
Make it don't take no days off.
I would love to be able to say that because I hear so many little excuses. You know, 5 minutes a day is my big one. Or just do 5 minutes a day.
Yeah, I think Robert Davidson called it the I'm a gonna. He had some kind of big thing about I'm a gonna. I'm a gonna. And so at some point you just have to. Yeah, so advanced Tlingit only goes till 7. It is a shorter class. The history behind it is complicated. I think it has to do with tuition being higher for upper level credits, and so it became a shorter class, but I never understood why. It should probably be a 4-hour class or 2-hour class. The week starts now. Okay, now it does go till 7. There will be some nights where we go a little longer, but not tonight. Always bring your questions. Oh, so 4 things about yourself, and you will also have opportunities, theoretically, to tell me how you want to do this. So bring your ideas. The opinion box will be wide open.
Gonna tease.
To help learn everyone,
What
and whoever go, call on the next person.
That's a good idea. Okay, so that'll be how we execute our talking circles. Is we're not all, if we were all in this space, we're all in this magical Zoom clan house. But yes, so you'll say your 4 things about yourself, and then you will call on somebody. We'll try that.
Hey.
Okay, that's how we start on Wednesday. I won't do a big speech. We'll just go right into Yi'it Choaha. And then we'll keep going through this slideshow. We'll have some other things to do. And this is just our warm up. Aadé toonéi, jigax toonéi. How we're gonna start working together. You okay?
Gonna tease. Gonna tease.
Sheesh.
Gonna tease.
Sheesh.
Noggin.
Nice to see everybody.
Yakg, yeah,
So what was it? Together we will.
Ushkach toesteen.
Nothing together, not.